Hello everyone and welcome to our beginner friendly Python programming tutorial. In this video, I will discuss the basics of list data type in Python, and I will also teach you about methods, which are functions that are tied to values of certain data type in another upcoming session. Then I will briefly cover the sequence data types and show how they compare each other. So the topic you will need to understand before you can begin writing programs in earnest is the list data type and its cousin, the tuple. So list and tuples can contain multiple values, which makes writing programs that handle large amounts of data easier. And since lists themselves can contain other lists, and you can manage them to arrange data into hierarchical structures. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's begin by understanding what is a list is in Python. So generally a list is one of the built-in data type used to store collections of data. So we store multiple values in a single variable. So that is a list. So a list is a value that contains multiple values in an ordered sequence. So let's look an example. So a list value looks like this. I'm creating a variable called animals and I'm assigning few items to that particular animals variable. Let's see. So here just a string values are typed with quotes to mark where the string begins and ends. So a list begins with an opening square bracket and closing square bracket. So the values inside the list are also called items and they are separated by commas. So you can have different types of items in a single list, such as strings, numbers, or even other lists. So for example, this is one list. This contains string items of different animal names. Let's look at another example. We are creating a numbers list and we are assigning some values, some items inside the square brackets, such as 1 2 3 4 5. This is a list and contains some items which are integer type. And let's look another example, some others list in which we are assigning hello and 3.14 and true, a boolean value, and none and 42. So this is a combination of different types of items, different types of data types. One is string, another one is integer float type, another one is boolean values, and integer value of numeric type. So these are the three kinds of lists. And another one, we can create an empty list also without providing any values to it. So this is an empty list. So these above variables are still, this above variable is still assigned only one value. All these variables are assigned to only one value, that is the list value, but the list value contains other values. So the value inside the square brackets are items. So and here the values inside this empty list that contains no value, similar to an empty string. So now let me tell you some key characteristics of lists. First, lists are ordered, which means the items maintain their position. Second, the lists are changeable, so allowing you to modify the items after creating a list. So you can modify the items after creating the lists. And the third characteristics is list can contain duplicate values. So we can add a duplicate values also. For example, I am adding another tiger. So see, this is where a string can contain duplicate values also. Last items are indexed. So the first item here, it has 0 index, and the second has 1, and the third one 2, fourth one 3, fifth one 4. So the first item has 0 index, and the last item here has 4th index. For example, let's say we have a list of animals, and if you want to access a specific item from this list of values, so you can use its index within the square brackets. So for example, I want to access the tiger from the above lists, so I am printing that tiger on the output screen. How we can do that? Using index. So print animals and the index position 0. So here Python evaluates this index position 0 to tiger. And let's see another one, animals index position 1. So here this Python evaluates 0, 0 and 1 to the respective index position in the above lists. Let's run this query and see the result. We got tiger and fox. So for 0 position it refers to tiger, and the first index position it refers to fox. Let's try another example. Print hello plus animals 3, and run this script and see the output, and it says hello elephant. So here 3 evaluates to elephant value. So the integer inside the square brackets that follows the list is called an index. The first value in the index in the list is at index 0, and the second value is at index 1, and the third value is at index 2, and so on. So let's see this figure. It describes in more picture. So the figure shows a list value assigned to an animal variable along with what the index expressions would evaluate to. So note that because the first index is 0 and the last index is 1 less than the size of the list, a list of 4 items has 3 as its last index. Hope you clear about this. So notice that the expression hello plus animal 3 evaluates to hello plus elephant, because elephant, this animal 3 evaluates to the string elephant. So the expression in turn evaluates to the string value hello elephant. But be careful, if you use an index that exceeds the number of values in your list, Python will raise an index error. For example, so I want to print hello plus animals of index 4. So I am trying to access the item from the which is in the 4th position in the in this list. So let's try to run this program and see the result. So as I said, if you exceeds the number of values in your list, so Python will raise an index error. So be careful when you are trying to access a list. So it should not exceed the number of values. Also keep in mind that indexes must be integers, not a float value. So using the float value in the index, it will result in a type error. So for example, let me show you that. So when you try to access a item from a list using a float value as an index, for example, So I'm using 1.0. So let's try to run this and see the result. As I said, the indexes must be integers, not floats. So using a float value as an index will result in type error. So make sure you try to access the item with integer values only. So when you try this, we will get this error. So that's it about the index. And do you know that lists can also contain other lists as well? Of course, yes. And today we will dive into this interesting concept as well and see how we can access the values inside these lists of other lists using multiple indexes. So let's see that. Alright, let's take a look at an example how lists can contain multiple lists. Imagine we have a list called multi-list. In this list, it contains two inner lists. One is with some fruits and the other one with some sequence numbers. So in this multi-list, the first index 0 points to index the inner list of fruits, and the second index 1 points to the second inner list, which is a sequence numbers. So let's try to access specific items inside these lists using multiple indexes. How we can do that? Let's see. For example, I want to access a value or an item from the above list using 0 index. Let's try how we can do that. Multi-list, and I'm accessing a item which is at 0 position. So from the above list, what will be the result? Let's see. We got entire inner list which contains fruits. So as I explained, the inner list, the first inner list which is positioned at 0 and the second inner list is positioned at index 1. Let's see that. Print multi-list index position 1. So if we run this, we will get the two inner lists from this entire list. So the first inner list is positioned at 0 index and the second inner list is positioned at first index. And similarly, if we have multiple lists, it goes one by one, 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. That's how you can access. And let's see another example. For example, I want to access this particular banana from this inner list. How we can do that? Print multi-lists. So first we have to mention the index position of this inner list, that is 0. Then we have to mention the position of banana. So the position of banana indexed at first position. Let's run this and see what will be the result. So we got banana. And let's try another example. So when we use, for example, multi-list 1 and 4. So when we use multi-list 1, it returns the second inner list, and the 4 returns the item which is stored in the second inner list. Let's try to run and see the result. 5. So this is how we can access items or values when a list can contain multiple lists using multiple index values. Hope you clear. If you have any doubts or any questions on this topic, please do not hesitate to mention in the comment section. So let's learn about negative indexes. Till now we worked with positive index values. Now we will jump into the negative indexes. Let's see how we can access that. In Python, list is an ordered collection. and each item has an index starting from 0. So we already know that. But do you know that you can also use negative integer values as indexes? So for example, the value minus 1 is a negative integer. So this minus 1 refers to the last position, the last item of the list. So and another example, minus 2. So this minus 2 refers to the second last item in the list. Similarly, minus 3, it refers to the fox, and so on. So let me show you some example. Here we have a list called animals containing some animal items. So let's say using negative indexes we can access the last item like this: print animals and the value. Run this program and see the output. We got lion. So, and to get the second last value from this list, we use print animals minus 2. Run this program and see the output. We got elephant. So this is how we can access a set of items from the list using negative indexes. And you can even combine these values into a string. For example, like this: print what we can say, so the place and animals of the first one minus 2 place is afraid of the place. So like this we can combine the values into a string. Let's run this and see the output. So here the elephant is afraid of the lion. This is how we can access, and even you can combine it into a string. That's all about negative index. So remember guys, your understanding is our priority. So if you have any questions or doubts about the concept discussed in this video, do not hesitate to ask them in the comment section. So we are here to address all your queries and support you every step of the way. So let's dive into another exciting topic together. Okay, now move on to the slices. So a slice technique allows you to get multiple values from a list or creating a new list. The syntax is similar to indexes, but instead of one integer value, we use two separated by a colon. So pay attention to this difference between index and slice. So here we will use the same animals list again. So we have 4 similar values, and to create a slice generally we use this notation. So the name of the list and starting index, colon, and ending index. So for slice technique we use this notation. So let's try to create one example. We'll work with one example how this slice technique works. So let's comment out this and see how this works. For example, print animals starting index 0 and last index 4, and try to run this program and see the output. Here we got the entire list. So let's break down this query, how this step worked exactly. Here the list goes from the starting index 0 and the ending index 4. So this starting index includes the first value of the list. Whenever you try to access a start index value, it includes, and when it comes to the last index and the ending index, it exclusive. So it doesn't include the last value, last index position. So here the result we got 0, 1, 2, 3. So here this 4 is not included. This is how a slide techniques works. So let's see. Okay, we'll try with another example to better understanding. Print animals 1, 3. So we'll run and this see the output. Here we got fox and elephant only. As I explained, the first starting index includes the first value and the last index. Here the last index value 3. It is a lion here. So it excludes. We didn't get that. So we got fox and elephant only. Similarly, you can also use negative indexes in slices. So for example, print animals starting position, the starting index 0 colon and the value negative index -1. Let's see the result of this particular slice. We'll comment it this portion. Let's run. We got tiger, fox, elephant. So started with 0 position, that is tiger, and the -1 here, -1 refers to the last value. As I said, it is excluding the last value. We never get the last value when we use a slice technique. That is the reason we got only the 3 values from the list. So if you leave out the, for example, let's see another example also. Print animals, the starting position and the ending index. So here if you leave out the starting index position and if you enter only the last index position, what will be the output? See, let's run this and see the output. Tiger and fox. So here we are leaving out the starting index value here. So it's the same as using the 0. So if we leave out the starting index values here, it counts from the 0 to 2. So let's try another example how exactly it works. Print animals, and I am ignoring the starting index value and just giving the last in the end of the index value, and try to run this. We got entire list. It's similar to the 0 position. So we are ignoring the 0, the starting index, and giving the only ending index value. This is how this works. This is another way. In similar, if you can leave out the end index, for example, print animals, I'm leaving the ending index. I'm mentioning only the starting position, that is 1 colon. So I'm ignoring the end index value. So let's try to run this and see what will be the output. So we got fox, elephant, lion. So as I said, it is including the first value and excluding the last position. So here we didn't mention any last position, so it provides the values till the end of the list, whatever available. So this is how if we ignore the starting index value or ending index value. Similarly, if you ignore the 2 values, the 2 index position, for example, I am not mentioning any position here. Sorry, animals index. So here I am not mentioning any starting index or ending index. Let's see what will be the output. We got entire list. So it starts from 0 and goes till end of the index position. So this is how we work with slice technique. So that's all, guys. So we have discussed some fascinating topics about list, but there is still much more to explore. In our upcoming videos, we will explain even more interesting concepts about lists. So please stay tuned. If you have any questions or doubts about the concepts we discussed in this video, do not hesitate to ask in the comment section. Your feedback is important to us. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. We are here to address all your queries and support you every step of the way. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.